Hey everyone, this is Jeremy Thomas, your Apex Auto Advocate. Thank you for tuning into my channel and for joining me today. I'm just leaving 210 Speed Lab after getting my 10K service done on my Indian Challenger of a 2020 Indian Challenger Dark Horse. And it's just about to hit 9,800 miles. And the reason for getting the 10K service now is I have two big trips planned this month. Next weekend, about 4 of us are heading down to Barber Motorsports Museum in Birmingham, Alabama. Doing a long weekend out there. It's supposed to be one of the best motorsport, both car and bike museums in the country. They also have a active track there as well, so it'd be cool. There'd probably be racing going on there too while we're out there. So with that trip, as well as our annual Steel Creek Church of Charlotte men's beach trip that is at Murrells Inlet, which is south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that's at the end of the month. So with both of those trips coming, I'm going to be well over 10,000 miles at that time. So I took the bike up to 210 Speed Labs here in Lincolnton, North Carolina. Great group of guys out here. Highly recommend them. Reasonable rates, reasonable charge. Looked everything over, made sure the bike was operating optimally. Even tweaked the belt tightening for me a little bit. Got the oil and filter change done. Cleaned the air filter. She's running great right now. Yeah, so my 2020 Indian Challenger, this has a stage 1 on it. So that stage 1 means it has a stage 1 exhaust system. It has a chassis air cleaner. On these Power Plus engines, it's a liquid cooled motor, right? So it's a 108 cubic inch liquid cooled motor. And so on this bike, the air cleaner that you see on the side of the engine really doesn't do much for it. It's really the chassis air cleaner that's in the front of the bike, right behind that front wheel, where the air comes in. So I have a K&N Performance air filter there. And then I've also got a Hoonies flash tune on the ECU. So it's not dyno tuned, but it's a flash tune on the ECU that was done by a computer, unlocked, and that takes the speed limiter off the bike. It really tunes the bike really well to get that throttle response dialed in. So there's no really dead spots on this bike anymore when it comes to throttle, especially in sport mode. I like to ride it in sport mode, and I should be getting about 125 pound-foot of torque to the wheel and about 115 horsepower, which is, again, to the wheel, right? So factory numbers will always tell you kind of what those numbers are from the engine, not really to the wheel, right? You have to dyno tune it to really see what's at the wheel. So that's pretty good, I think, for what I've spent to be able to get the full stage 1 and the ECU flash complete. So that's what I'm running right now on this bike. So, and I love it. It's probably been my favorite bike that I've owned. And so with this vlog today, I thought it would be awesome to just share a little bit of my motorcycling journey. How did I get into motorcycles? When did I start riding? How did I get my license? What bikes have I owned? Just so I thought that would be helpful for you guys to get to know me a little bit better in terms of my bike journey. I'll probably do a different video talking about gear, and then subsequent videos in the future talking about different classes of bikes, what I would recommend in each class, depending on what budget is and what folks are looking for. I'd love to help people purchase their next bike or even their automobile, their car. I am Apex Auto Advocate. That is my LLC. That is my company. That is what I'm doing, building that business out right now. And I appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel for future content, and make sure the bell notification as well, you hit that so you get notified when new videos are live. In addition, please visit me at apexautoadvocate.com. There you can see my various services and pricing on each package and what that package entails, as well as the consultation form where you can fill out what you're looking for and what your needs are. Based on that consultation form being filled out, I get an email and I will set up a free 30-minute consultation with you to talk in a little bit more depth, gather a bit more information, and to see if my services would benefit you and if it would be a great opportunity to work together. So please refer me, send folks to my website. My email is in there, contact information and all that is there. So appreciate the support and looking to build that business out as well. I've been doing that for many years, helping people, friends and family for free, and now stepping out and building this business to be my main business for the time being, until other things come along. So thanks for that. So my motorcycling journey began in 2019. I know as a young kid growing up, I loved motorcycles. I loved anything with a motor in it: cars, motorcycles, airplanes, trains, planes, trains, automobiles, as they say. And so when I moved out to Charlotte, in 2017. I would never have dreamed of owning a bike growing up in New York. New York is a very difficult place, I would say, to own a bike, just because of the winters, just potholes and traffic and just congestion in general. Not as many back roads as you see here today as I'm on right now. So in 2019, I treated myself for my birthday and said, hey, I'm going to take the Motorcycle Safety Foundations course, the MSF course, and get a feel for what it's like to ride a motorcycle. I've never rode a motorcycle before in my life before that. The only requirements that the MSF course require is that you know how to ride a bicycle, a basic bicycle, and you have a helmet and long sleeves, long sleeve shirt, pants, and shoes, right? Those were the requirements. So I signed up. I was able to get a course with Harley Davidson, Independence Harley Davidson in Matthews, North Carolina, and got a good deal on it too. I think I got it for about $150. It was, coming out of winter. It was February time, and I took the course. And that course entails it was a Thursday night classroom session. And then it was all day Saturday and all day Sunday, both classroom and actual riding. They provided their Street 500 motorcycles at the time, and this is back in 2019, and they have kind of engine guards and safety bars on them, so in case people drop the bikes and things. And I really enjoyed the course. I highly recommend, if you don't have your license yet, your motorcycle license, I highly recommend taking an MSF course. There are local colleges that in your area that may offer that class. If you just Google motorcycle safety course and put your zip code in, I believe it'll take you to the MSF website, and you can put your zip and city in, and it'll show you various options that you would have and price points for taking the course. I highly recommend it. I learned so much. It is safety in mind. It taught me a lot of really good habits that I hold on to till this day, and even a lot of slow speed maneuvering, hard braking from a really good speed, 90-degree turns, U-turns, figure 8 turns, all those kinds of things that I feel are super beneficial for all of us to know and continue to practice even to today. Again, highly recommend it. So I took that course. Had my heart set on maybe getting my first bike as a Harley. I wanted to see how the course went before I purchased my first bike. As I got to the end of the class, I think it was on that Sunday, even before I took my road test, I started, perusing online for a used bike. And I'm a big proponent of buying a used bike. I am a staunch believer that, let's be financially and fiscally responsible. Don't have to take advantage of the depreciation curve. And I ended up getting an amazing deal on my first bike, and I'll kind of explain what that bike was and how that process was. So I happened to go on Craigslist and found a 2015 Ducati Scrambler Icon. That was their kind of entry-level, one of their entry-level bikes. It's an 803cc engine. That's not a slouch by any means. Definitely a smaller statured bike, but it was yellow and black. Oh, it was cool, really cool. And this guy was selling it, I mean, locally in Charlotte, and I don't remember what he had it priced at. I think he had it priced at around $6,000, but it had, I think, under 2,000 miles. It had a really nice upgraded aftermarket exhaust. Had a Mustang seat on it, and you really didn't need anything much on that bike. It was great. It was great condition, really great photos that he had on the listing. At first I thought it was a scam. I even asked a couple of my motorcycle buddies, right? Like, hey, sent them the link. Does this look like a scam? One of my buddies was like, hey, it could be a scam, but you should take a look at it and reach out, because if it's not a scam, then you just got yourself a really amazing deal on a pretty cool motorcycle to be your first motorcycle. So I reached out, and it seemed legit. I haggled a bit, and I actually brought the price down to about $5,000. Got it down $1,000. It turned out this guy, was actually moving. He was actually moving out of country, and he really needed to sell the bike quickly. So it was priced to sell, and he was still able to work with me. And yeah, so I got a 2015 Ducati Scrambler Icon in yellow, 803 cc's, under 2,000 miles, some really nice appointments on it, for $5,000. That was my first motorcycle. I had a pickup truck at the time, so a buddy of mine came and helped me with straps, and I loaded that bike onto my I had a GMC Canyon Denali pickup truck at the time that I was leasing, and yeah, loaded it on there, and I rode that for about 8 months, and I enjoyed it. About 8 months into it, I kind of decided I wanted something a little bit bigger, just bigger in terms of size. Engine was plenty. 803cc's was not a slouch. I mean, it was a quick bike. It was fun. But me just being a bigger statured person, I just felt like the bike was a little too small when I saw myself in pictures or videos, or even just how I felt on it. I wanted something cruiser-esque, but something with some performance as well to continue growing and my motorcycle journey. And so went to the local dealership here and looked around for a lot of different things. I was torn between, I came down to two models. One was from Harley Davidson. It was a 2018 Fat Bob. And the Fat Bob, it's kind of a performance softail. It kind of has an apocalyptic look to it, a rectangular headlight in the front. And it looks pretty cool. It's pretty rad. It has forward controls, good for lean angles, but it was belt driven, kind of a cool performance cruiser of sorts. I wasn't ready for the bagger bikes yet, right? I wanted to get something still pretty nimble and quick, but something that was a lot more substantial. And I wanted to be able to roam around town as well as take it on mountain roads and really enjoy it. And I also wanted something that not a lot of people had. I've always kind of marched to that kind of beat of that drum. I'm not a brand snob. I look at products. I like to see, based on what I'm looking for, what's best out there that meets my specifications. And I truly believe in competition. I truly believe that we should have many brands of motorcycles and options out there. So I wasn't really torn toward a specific brand. I wasn't saying I had to have a Ducati or a Harley or Indian or whatever it was at the time. And so went to the Harley dealership and had a pretty bad experience with that dealership. Felt like I wasn't being taken seriously. Wanted to trade in this Scrambler and get a good deal on that, but it didn't really seem. I took the Fat Bob for a ride. They let me test drive it. It was nice. It was fine. But also the pricing on that just didn't make sense for me at the time, just given I like to do research and look at the market, see what I could get for the amount of money that I wanted to spend. And I ended up finding a 2016 Ducati X Diavel. and that also had about 2,000 miles on it, and it had a lot of great additions to it. It was really, really built up well. Another great thing about buying a used bike is that you can get a lot of accessories and aftermarket parts, and it really is a sunk cost for the owner of that bike, but you end up being the proud owner of a bike and not having to have paid the thousands of dollars that someone put into a bike when you buy a used bike most of the time. And so this bike was at my local dealership, Motorcycles of Charlotte in Westinghouse, and it was great. I mean, low mileage. It had the Turbignoni full titanium exhaust system, which when I googled that, I mean, that itself was almost $3,000. And it again was low mileage, barely ridden. Rizoma mirrors, all the Rizoma aftermarket parts you could think of. Rizoma's a big Italian aftermarket brand, especially for Ducati. It's a pretty well-known, well-researched, and reputable brand. So all the things that this previous owner had put on this bike were very tasteful, and I really, really loved this bike. And the X Diavolo, for those that may not know, was the only belt-driven Ducati ever made. That model was first model year was 2016, so this was the first year. I would caution folks too, whether that be cars or bikes, just to be cautious of a first model year or a significant remodel year, the first year that car or motorcycle comes out, just because it may have kinks and bugs that need to be worked out, and it being just fairly new at the time, or as a used product later, may have some issues that some of the newer models will not have. So something to keep in mind too in your research as you're looking for bikes. So this bike seemed too good to pass up. I mean, so the baffles were taken out of that exhaust. So that exhaust was loud, but it sounded so good. And so I took that thing out for a test ride. It had forward controls, belt driven, had a 240 millimeter back tire. So it had a really big, thick back tire. Kind of like a drag bike, right? So a smaller tire in the front, large 240 millimeter tire in the back, really thick, big tire. And I mean, that bike has a 1262 Testastretta Ducati engine. It was definitely over 156 horsepower on that bike. Highest horsepower bike I've ever owned. Not that as much torque. I think it was in the 90s for the torque, pound-foot of torque numbers. But that was a phenomenal bike. I loved that bike. I had that bike, so got the Ducati Scrambler beginning of 2019, and then around October 2019, 8 months later, I traded that in at that dealership and got a great deal on that bike. I got the full $5,000 back for the Scrambler that I had paid to buy that first bike, and then also got a really good deal on this bike. I think I negotiated brand new tires, but I told them to hold it or don't order them until I got a little bit more mileage out of these original, because they were original tires. They were showing some wear at the time, and negotiated that into the deal, including labor to put those new tires on. And I think I was out the door about $14,000. Yeah, which was great. And then that was before the trade. So that was the second bike, the Ducati X Diavolo. And so I rode that really for a couple of years. I had that bike from 2019 October all the way to, I want to say, March or April of 2023. Yeah, and I put, I want to say, a little over 7,000 miles in that time. So the bike at that point, when I traded that one in, was over 9,000 miles at the time.